Good day, listeners. Welcome to HearFirst, your daily roundup of the most important stories from India and around the world. I'm your host, bringing you the top 5 headlines from India, followed by 5 key developments from across the globe. Let's begin with India. India. News 1. India, Pakistan. Tensions rise. Post-Pahalgam attack. Tensions between India and Pakistan have sharply escalated following the recent terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam that claimed 26 lives, including tourists. The Indian government has blamed the attack on Pakistan-backed groups and responded by suspending visa services, expelling Pakistani officials, and reinforcing troop presence near the line of control. In retaliation, Pakistan has shut down its airspace for Indian flights and suspended key agreements, including the Indus Waters Treaty. Skirmishes have already been reported in some border areas. With rising rhetoric on both sides, global powers have begun urging restraint and dialogue. This marks the most serious diplomatic standoff between the two countries in years, raising fears of further escalation in the region. 2. Kolkata hotel fire kills 14, sparks safety debate. A massive fire engulfed the Rakuten hotel in central Kolkata early this morning, claiming the lives of at least 14 people. Firefighters battled the blaze for several hours before bringing it under control. Among the dead are guests, hotel staff, and a fire safety officer. Initial reports suggest that an electrical short circuit might have caused the fire, but investigations are still ongoing. The tragedy has triggered widespread anger over the lack of proper fire safety equipment and outdated infrastructure in many urban hotels across India. Authorities have ordered an immediate inspection of similar establishments in the city. West Bengal's chief minister has announced compensation for the families of the deceased and promised strict action against those found responsible. 3. Rakuten to invest $100 million in India, eyes tech talent. Japanese conglomerate Rakuten has announced a major investment of $100 million in India to expand its global operations. The investment will be routed through its Global Capability Center in Bengaluru, which already employs 4,000 people. Rakuten is focusing on hiring tech professionals skilled in AI, data science, and cloud technologies. This move underlines India's growing importance as a global innovation hub. Rakuten also plans to set up additional infrastructure and increase R&D spending in India. Company officials have praised the country's young talent pool and digital ecosystem. This announcement is seen as a significant boost for India's position in the global tech industry and aligns with its ambition to become a leading technology and innovation partner for multinational corporations. 4. Indian Oil inks LNG import deal with Trafigura. Indian Oil Corporation has entered into a 5-year agreement with international commodities trader Trafigura for the import of liquefied natural gas, or LNG. The deal will ensure the delivery of 3 to 4 LNG cargoes this year and increase to 6 cargoes annually starting 2026. This move is a strategic step for India, which is working to diversify its energy imports and reduce dependence on traditional oil suppliers. The agreement is also expected to help balance trade with key partners, including the United States. With energy demand rising in India, this deal strengthens the country's supply security and aligns with its cleaner fuel transition goals. Experts see this as a timely development in India's long-term energy strategy. 5. India strengthens Latin American ties for critical minerals. India is ramping up diplomatic and trade efforts in Latin America to secure critical minerals like lithium and copper, essential for its clean energy goals. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has directed a strategic push to build partnerships with countries such as Argentina, Chile, and Bolivia. Several agreements have already been signed for exploration and resource sharing. The minerals will be crucial for India's electric vehicle manufacturing, solar battery storage, and other green technologies. The move is part of India's broader attempt to reduce reliance on China for rare earth elements. This new geopolitical engagement with Latin America marks a bold step in India's foreign policy and sustainability roadmap. World News. 6. Canada elects. New Prime Minister after tight race. Canada has elected a new Prime Minister following a closely contested general election. The Liberal Party, led by a charismatic new face, has secured a narrow victory over the Conservatives. This election saw immigration, housing affordability, and climate change dominate public debates. The new leader is expected to introduce reforms focused on youth employment, healthcare expansion, and green energy initiatives. Early reactions suggest a mix of optimism and caution, with the business community awaiting economic policy clarity. The result is also expected to shape Canada's international relations, particularly with the United States, China, and the European Union. A formal swearing-in ceremony is scheduled later this week in Ottawa. 7. North Korea conducts. Missile test from new warship North Korea has tested 2 short-range ballistic missiles from its newly commissioned destroyer, the Choi Hyon, in the Sea of Japan. The test was reportedly overseen by leader Kim Jong-un and signals a significant development in North Korea's naval capabilities. State media claims the warship can launch missiles with increased precision, mobility, and stealth. The launch has drawn condemnation from South Korea and Japan, while the United States has called it a provocative act undermining regional stability. This is the latest in a series of military advancements by North Korea amid stalled nuclear negotiations. Observers say the move aims to project strength ahead of possible talks later this year. 8. Japan resumes trade. Talks with US over tariffs. Japan and the United States have restarted trade negotiations in Washington to resolve tariff disputes that originated under the Trump administration. The talks are focused on reducing duties on key exports like automobiles, semiconductors, and agricultural goods. Japan's chief negotiator, Ryosei Akazawa, expressed optimism about reaching a mutually beneficial outcome. Both countries are also discussing supply chain cooperation and digital trade regulations. With the US pivoting to Indo-Pacific partnerships, strengthening economic ties with Japan is seen as critical. Analysts believe the talks could result in a revised agreement that addresses current trade imbalances and enhances regional stability through economic integration. 9. New Zealand Air Force to launch Space Squadron. In a landmark move, the New Zealand Air Force has announced plans to create a dedicated space squadron to manage national and defense-related activities in outer space. The unit will focus on satellite monitoring, space weather tracking, and the protection of orbital assets. This decision reflects growing global awareness about the importance of space in modern warfare and communication. New Zealand's Defence Minister stated that the move aligns with their strategy to become a significant player in the global space economy. Experts believe this initiative could open doors for collaboration with larger space powers and position the country as a tech-savvy defence innovator. 10. Marvel's Thunderbolts faces market test amid US-China tensions. Marvel Studios' upcoming film Thunderbolts is generating buzz but also uncertainty as it prepares for release in Chinese theaters amidst ongoing US-China trade tensions. The film, which brings together anti-heroes and villains from previous Marvel franchises, is seen as a litmus test for Hollywood's appeal in China. Recent years have seen several American blockbusters underperform in the region due to censorship concerns and nationalistic sentiment. Disney executives are watching closely, as the film's success could impact future distribution strategies. Industry analysts say Thunderbolts may either mark a revival of Hollywood's fortunes in China or reinforce the need for content tailored specifically to Asian audiences. That wraps up today's edition of Hear First. Stay tuned, stay informed, and see you tomorrow with another roundup of the day's biggest headlines. Thank you for listening to Hear First.